Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. This week I will be reading 3 of the lowest rated books off of my TBR. I'm going to be picking 2 books from my Goodreads TBR and 1 book from my physical TBR. If you want to see the video where I read the highest rated, that was published last week, so you guys can go and watch that. So here we are. My Goodreads list is open. I am going to start screen recording and we're going to choose the lowest rated books. So we're going to sort average rating. It's already sorted by the highest, so let's sort by the lowest. Is this book out yet? I think it is. Oh, I'm actually really surprised by that. This book is Normal Women by Ainsley Hogarth, who is the author of Mother Thing, which I think I gave 4 stars, but honestly I don't remember that much from the book. I remember the vibes of it and fish. I don't know. So Normal Women says it's a darkly comic story about how we value female labor and don't. A new mother becomes embroiled in a dangerous mystery when her friend, a controversial entrepreneur, goes missing. All right, and that's got a rating of 3.06, which is pretty low. I'm really shocked. And then underneath that, this one I guess doesn't really shock me because I feel like it's one of those books where some people get it and some people don't get it. Ritualistic Human Sacrifice by C.V. Hunt with a 3.1 average rating. I don't even know what this is about. Nick Graves is a miserable man. All right, there it is. Sounds interesting. I don't know. Like I said, I've seen a lot of people, like, you either get it or you don't, you love it or you hate it. So I'm excited for that one. Now we get to pick our one from my physical TBR. I'm kind of nervous because I have no idea what this will be. Oh, it's actually Looker by Laura Sims. 3.06, which I think was the same as Normal Women. This one I added because I just read How Can I Help You by Laura Sims and absolutely loved it. But I feel like if this is similar to that one, it might have a low average rating because of that, because in How Can I Help You, I feel like there's not a lot of crazy things that happen. It's kind of like a slower story, but I really like the psychological like suspense and the obsession and the feel of that one. So I'm really excited to try this. I actually just recently thrifted it, and that's the only reason it's on my physical TBR, so this is exciting. I've decided to start this video by reading Ritualistic Human Sacrifice. Really for no reason, I just kind of randomly chose what I was going to start this video off with. I'm about 30% of the way through, and before I get into my thoughts, let me tell you what the book is about. This is a fairly short horror book. I think it's about 200 pages, and I'm not entirely sure if it's like actually extreme horror or if it's just like really messed up horror. But anyways, we have this couple, and the main character that we're reading from is Nick Graves. And he is absolutely horrible. He's like very, very misogynistic, just kind of a piece of shit. Like, he sucks. That's pretty much it. But the book starts off, he is thinking about leaving his wife, and then she springs the news on him that she's pregnant, although they previously had an agreement that neither of them wanted kids, but she purposely made sure to get pregnant in order to like save their marriage, save their relationship. So he's pissed about it, obviously, and then he decides, well, if you get to make that big decision for us, I'm gonna make a big decision for us too, and he decides to buy this house. So they haven't moved into the house yet, but he has bought it and he has to get it remodeled, and basically he went and did a tour of it, and it's very, very strange, very eccentric people lived there before him, and they were very clearly into some weird and dark stuff that I'm sure will be revealed later on. So far, I actually am really, really enjoying this. I don't know, the writing I feel like is simplistic, but like not in a bad way, but in a way that makes it so quick and easy to read and makes you just want to keep reading. Obviously, we're reading from the perspective, we are inside of the head of Nick, so it's very hard at times because he is such a terrible person. Like, some of the things that he does are not very easy to read about, but the way that things are written is like making me laugh, which sounds bad because I'm not laughing at like what's happening, but I'm laughing at the way things are written and the way that this man's thought processes are. So for example, this is at the beginning of the book, and he gets home from work and his wife calls out, "You're home." And he gets really irritated with her and he says, "It was a declaration of the obvious. I was home. I was aware I was home. She was aware I was home. She did not have to announce it to the world, or better yet, announce it to the two people who already knew the information she was conveying." I'm like, yeah, he sucks, don't get me wrong, but it's just really funny the way that things are written in this book. I am absolutely flying through it. I just started it a little while ago, and like I said, I am 32% of the way through, so it's going well. I'm very curious to see where the story is going. It's kind of reminding me of the Handyman Method, which I actually DNF'd because that story just wasn't hooking me, but a lot of the elements where we have this very like toxic masculinity, very misogynistic guy, and then they buy this house and they have to fix this house up is, I don't know, it just reminds me of that book. But we will see where it goes. It's very much just toxic relationship and horrible main character that we're reading from right now. There is one thing that I didn't enjoy so far, and that was the last chapter that I read, which was him going to get a vasectomy. First of all, he made the appointment late at night and he got the appointment for the next day to get a vasectomy, which I'm pretty sure is not how it works. You have to get a consultation before you can just go in and like have surgery. But that entire chapter just detailed like step by step the entire process of getting the vasectomy, and it felt like a lot to me. Not that it was like bothering me with the content or it was hard to read. It was just like, okay, he's getting a vasectomy. Why do I have to read step by step everything that he's doing and everything that the doctor's doing? I don't know. But other than that, I'm really, really enjoying it so far. So I'm gonna keep reading. I don't know. I feel like I'm feeling very optimistic, and I feel like maybe I could just finish this book tonight. It's only 8 o'clock, so I feel like there's a pretty good chance that I could just speed through and finish it because I am so invested in it right now. So I'll let you guys know how it goes from here. It is now the next day, and I have finished Ritualistic Human Sacrifice. I finished it last night, like I told you guys, and I started the next book. So it is about time that I talk to you guys. Let's start with this. When I updated you last night, it was going really well. I was really enjoying it. I thought the book was going to go a certain direction, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to love this book. It's going to be 4 stars. It's going to be 5 stars. It's going to be so good. Probably around 60% of the way in, I was quickly learned that the book was not going where I thought it was going, and I really did not enjoy it. So the first half of this book, like I told you guys, we have this couple, the wife gets pregnant, the man is very upset about it, and so he moves them to this house that is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, makes her quit her job and go to this house. And like I told you guys, the house was very clearly owned by some people who were into some really weird shit. They get to the town, things are really weird. It's a very, very small town. Everybody's acting very, very strange. They get to the house, things start acting strange. And I was like so into it. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so, so good. Like, the things that it was alluding to made me feel like it was gonna go down like a kind of paranormal, like haunted, demon type of story, and it really didn't go that way at all, and I'm really sad. It seems to be a really big theme with extreme horror, and I'm not a very big fan of it, and that is when things get very sexually explicit and sexually violent. And it's not that like I can't handle it. I have read plenty of things like that. It's just when it's like so much occurring in the book that it just takes away from the actual plot and takes away from the actual experience of the book, that it's just not fun. The second half of this book, that is exactly where it went. It was just like porn scene, porn scene, porn scene, and then devolved into something worse, and it was just our scene, our scene, our scene, like one after another. And it was just, by the end, I was so over it because I didn't enjoy the way that it was going. There was also a lot of other weird things, weird, horrible, graphic things happening aside from what I just mentioned. And I feel like, yes, there's a point to it. It's kind of like a metaphor because our main character, Nick, is so misogynistic and so horrible, and all he thinks about all day is like having sex with women and watching porn and jacking off to very horrible S&M porn. Like, I get it, because then it's like, oh, you know, this is what he always, like, thought about, and now he's getting what he wanted, and he's having these girls, like, are him, and, like, now he's getting a taste of his own medicine. Like, but it was just dumb. Like, I feel like it really didn't add, I don't know. Like, not that it didn't add to the plot, because, like, that is where the plot went, but I didn't really enjoy it. I'm just really sad because I really thought that I was going to enjoy this book, and then it just devolved into absolute shit. And the ending as well, like, I did not like the way this book ended. I don't know. There were a lot of elements in the first half that I really, really enjoyed, and then the second half just was probably like a 1 star for me. But overall, I'm gonna give the book 2.5 stars. I'm not giving it 2 stars because I didn't actively dislike the entire thing. Like I said, the first half I did enjoy. The writing I did enjoy, and I will definitely read more from this author. Like, this hasn't deterred me from the author because I did enjoy the writing, but I just wish that the book went the direction I was thinking it was gonna go, because it would have been so much better, in my opinion, than whatever the hell it turned into. So, unfortunately, I am agreeing with the bad reviews on this one, and Ritualistic Human Sacrifice gets 2.5 stars from me. Moving on, though, I started the next book. I decided to start Normal Women by Ainsley Hogarth, who is the author of Mother Thing, which I believe I gave 4 stars, but, like, honestly, thinking back on it, I don't remember all that much. Like, I remember the plot and I remember some key moments that happen, but I don't remember, like, how it ends or, like, what the big takeaways from the book were for me, but I did enjoy it. This I started today. That's the whole point of this update. I have a nice little salt and pepper bookmark. But I am on chapter 11, which is page 93, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm almost 100 pages into this book, and I have absolutely nothing to say about it. And that's not, like, a negative thing, it's just, like, I genuinely have, like, 0 thoughts. Head empty. Like, this is a book. This is definitely words on paper. It's certainly a book. But other than that, nothing. So this book follows the couple Danny and Clark, and they have a daughter, and when Danny gets pregnant, they make the decision to move back to her hometown. Clark gets the opportunity for a really big promotion, and because of this promotion, Clark has gotten a significant raise, which makes him able to buy a house for them and allows Danny to be able to stay home with their daughter. So they do that. They're living in this house. They have their daughter, their young daughter, and Danny one day gets hit with this, like, overwhelming fear that Clark could die pretty much at any moment. And she starts freaking out because she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't work. She just takes care of their daughter. She doesn't know if Clark dies, how she will be able to kind of sustain herself in the world and be a normal woman. So she finds this weird building that is called the Temple, and basically it's, like, partially like a yoga studio, but then also, like, a sex work team. So she gets really invested in that and decides that maybe she wants to start working there and learn more about that world and be able to prove to herself that she can do something and make money for herself. And that's pretty much where we are. I just don't really know. Like, I don't know. Like, I just don't have any thoughts about it. I'm just, like, along for the ride just reading this. I feel like I've seen a lot of low ratings from people that had previously read Mother Thing, which is a horror book, and this is marketed as a horror book, but to me, so far, like, I'm not seeing any horror elements from it. So I feel like that's why a lot of people are giving it lower ratings, is because they wanted what Mother Thing gave, and this is not giving that. but I feel like a lot of the themes are very similar. I know I've said it a million times, but I truly do not have anything else to say about this book right now. So this was more of just like a plot update of what this book is, but I don't know where it's going. I hope it gets weird and dark with this whole temple sex work thing that she's getting involved in. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of commentary on like motherhood and like the loss of like identity or loss of self that a lot of new mothers experience. So I'm just curious to see where it goes from here. I have bad news. I got to page, let me find my bookmark. I got to page 190, chapter 20 in Normal Women, and I decided that I'm going to DNF it. I just cannot. I can't do it. I feel like nothing has happened. I feel like there's not a plot in this book. Like, I don't understand what the plot is. From the synopsis, it seems like this book is going to be about Dani discovering the temple and maybe getting into sex work or trying to find meaning and try to like prove that she can work and provide for her child. Really, that's not what this book is. It's just Dani like being obsessed with the temple and like going there every night, lying to her husband to get away, and then she goes and sits on the street outside of the temple, and then she meets this girl that works there, Renata, I don't know how to pronounce that, but she finds a friend in this girl and then basically like sneaks away every night to go see her. And then the synopsis on the back, it says that Renata disappears and Dani discovers there might be something else she's good at, detective work, which makes it seem like there's gonna be a compelling mystery, like something's gonna be interesting. She is going to discover what happened to this girl, maybe some dark secrets that lie within the temple. Page 190, like I said, and Renata has not disappeared. She is still very much in the book. I did skip ahead a little bit because I wanted to see, and it looks like she does disappear within the next 2 chapters, but that's still 200 pages of a 300-page book to get to something that is mentioned on the back synopsis as being like the central mystery within the story. And I feel like there's something really wrong with that pacing. I just had to be honest, like, I don't care about anything that's happening in the book. I don't care about anything that the book is saying. I don't care about any of the characters, and I just want to be done reading it. So I'm going to be done reading it. I would say if you are someone like me that read Mother Thing and enjoyed Mother Thing and decided to pick this up because you thought maybe you would enjoy more from this author, don't do it. Like, just skip it because it's not even comparable to Mother Thing. Not that it should be. We'll get into that in a second, but like the main character in Mother Thing, I feel like was so interesting to follow. She was funny, she was entertaining, she was dark, and she just had this quality about her that was so fun to follow. Dani has absolutely nothing going for her. So if you liked the qualities that were in Mother Thing, this, I don't think, is a book that you will be able to enjoy. But like I said, let's circle back around to where I said not that it should be comparable to Mother Thing, because I don't believe that everything an author writes needs to be so similar and delivering the same thing. But that's why I'm saying if you are coming specifically from Mother Thing and wanting to read this, I don't know if it'll work for you. But there's definitely an audience out there that could enjoy this book. I just personally know that myself and others are not the specific audience that would enjoy this. I don't know if that really made that much sense, but the bad reviews, the bad ratings win again. So we are on to the last book for this video. You guys send me good vibes because I'm actually really excited for this. This is Looker by Laura Sims. She is the author of the book How Can I Help You, which I read in January. Instantly fell in love with. It was a 5-star read for me. I still think about it to this day. So when I learned about some of the other books she had out, I put this one on my TBR, and then I shortly after found it at the thrift store for literally $2. I was stoked. So I'm very excited, and I was very sad when it came up as being very, very lowly rated, but I just hope that I can be an outlier on this one. one more chance for this video to turn into something good, and I really hope that this delivers. It is 180 pages. The font is pretty big, so I feel like this will be a very quick read, and I still have high hopes despite the trajectory of this video at the current moment. But we're gonna try our best. I will see you guys after I start this. Hi, I'm currently at the beach, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, I feel so awkward. Okay. I do. A little microphone to hold. Anyways, I just got to page 96, so I figured I'd update you guys because this book is only 180 pages. I'm really enjoying it so far. We have this main character who is a professor, and she has just gone through a separation with her husband. They aren't officially divorced, but they're going through it, and they're like kind of having a custody battle over the cat. And then they also live like next to, or she lives next to this like famous actress, so she's always watching the actress and watching her husband and watching the kids. She's like very obsessed with her. But I feel like there's a lot of different elements, but we're just kind of following this woman in her life, and it's very like stream of consciousness, like writing style, where we're just in her head and following what she does every day. It's definitely written by the same person that wrote How Can I Help You? I feel like that's very clear in the writing, but I really, really like it. I feel like for the same reasons that I liked that one, where it's just like this story of obsession, these unhinged women, and I'm just really curious to see where it goes, because I know in How Can I Help You, it kind of like escalated to a certain point at the end, so I wonder if this book is going to do that as well, or if it's just going to keep like the same tone throughout, or if it's, you know, things are going to pick up, if it's going to get more suspenseful, more weirdly psychological. But I am really liking it. It's also reminding me of Melissa Broder, just in the way that Melissa Broder writes fiction about women going through weird things and just like living their life. Like that's what this book feels like to me. There's a helicopter. Anyway, this has been a very, very quick read. I'm absolutely flying through it. It really helps that the font is really big, but I'm going to keep reading on this beautiful beach, and then I will let you guys know when I finish it. So it's actually the next day. I forgot to update you guys yesterday, but I ended up finishing Looker at the beach. Like I said, it was a very, very quick and easy read, so it was really nothing to just fly through it. I really liked it. I'm going to give it 4 stars, and I'm so happy because we finally have a winner for this video. So let's go ahead and get into the book. I told you guys a little bit about it. We are just kind of following this woman through her life, and there are a lot of different things going on. So not only do we have this element with the actress, and she is watching the actress and becoming very obsessed with the actress, but we also have her whole like divorce that she's going through and fighting over the cat. She doesn't want to give up the cat, even though the cat was her ex's to begin with. On top of all of that, she is a professor, and she teaches like these night classes at a college, and she kind of gets into an inappropriate relationship with one of her students, and things kind of get out of hand with that. But overall, we are just following this woman slowly become more and more unhinged and more unreliable. I am not always a super big fan of unreliable narrators, but I did enjoy the way it was done in this book. I feel like it wasn't the core focus, and it wasn't like a big thing throughout the entire story that she's unreliable, but there were a few moments where she would see something or believe something would happen, and then the next day would be like, wait a second, that's not actually what happened. So I really liked kind of the way that it plays with reality a little bit, and you're not entirely sure what's going on. If this girl is just crazy, which clearly she is. She's a very, very unhinged woman. So I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I'm not sure, I feel like a lot of the low ratings are probably because of the fact that like plot-wise, not a lot really happens. It's just all kind of very small psychological changes almost, where like I said, she slowly becomes more and more unhinged. So there's not like a lot of in-your-face crazy incidents happening. The ending isn't super crazy, although it does devolve to a certain point. I just really liked it for the same reason that I liked How Can I Help You. However, I would say if you want to compare the two, How Can I Help You is definitely like the stronger novel because I feel like she goes more in depth in that one, and I really like that book because we have the dual perspective. So it's the story of obsession, but we are getting the same moments being told and recounted from the perspective of both women in that story, and that's why I really, really like that one. So that one is definitely above this for me. There was also one element in here that I didn't really like, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. There is spoilers, so if you don't want any spoilers at all, you can skip ahead to this timestamp, but I do want to tell you guys because it is like a possible trigger as well. I totally was not expecting this to happen, but like I said, we have kind of throughout the book, they are having this custody battle. She has her ex's cat and she is refusing to give it up. She changes the locks, she ignores his calls, and just pretty much refuses to have any contact with him or discuss this issue with him at all. And so he gets like a court summons, like a subpoenas her to come to court, divorce court, so they can sort out this custody, and she just kind of snaps and goes really crazy, and she takes the cat and smothers it under a pillow and kills it. And I really hated that scene. I'm really, really sad that that had to be included. So that's why I just want to tell you guys about that, because I know that is a trigger for a lot of people. I mean, it's not pleasant for anybody to read about animal cruelty and animal death and animal abuse. So that was the one element of this book that I didn't really like. I wish that things could have just been a little bit different there. But overall, as a story, I did really enjoy it. So that's why I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoy Laura Sims's writing style, and I will definitely be looking to pick up anything else that she publishes. I think she's definitely got like her thing is writing these weird obsession novels with these crazy women, and I am going to eat them up. So Laura Sims, when you publish your next book, send me a copy. But that is everything for this video. So we did have a win after all. We got 1 4-star, 1 book where I disagreed with the bad ratings. Then we had a DNF and we had a 2.5 star. So overall, 2 out of 3, I feel like I do agree with the lower ratings. I always think it's interesting to read books that a lot of people hate, especially when you end up on the opposite side of the spectrum and you are in the minority, but like for a good reason. And it's just interesting to see people's different tastes in different things. But with that being said, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. The next video in this sort of mini series is going to be the most popular books on my TBR. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested, and thank you so much for watching.